Hey everyone, I'm back with another video, and in this video we're going to go in depth about my October StreamINK experience. Huzzah! StreamINK is an ink prompt list collaboration with 31 art streamers and one amazing mod within the Twitch community. The list of prompts was curated by the streamers who encouraged their communities to participate. StreamINK was actually already in the works before Alfonso Dunn released his video. As controversy and allegations of plagiarism swirled, especially in the art world, it became more apparent that StreamINK was the direction to provide my community. With that being said, in no way, shape, or form did I discourage people to follow their own opinions about the situation. For me, this was my chance to have a collaboration with a lot of other artists instead of trying to do a challenge by myself. The very first, very glaring, obvious material that we are going to be talking about is the Etchr Everyday Sketchbook in the A6 size. I knew that I wanted something smaller, so it's about the size of my hand. I really have been hearing so many things about the Etchr Everyday Sketchbooks, and I just kind of wanted to try them out for myself. Even though I did not use this as a watercolor sketchbook, it does say it's mixed media, so you can use any types of media forms on it, like pen, ink, watercolor, gouache, etc. This has 26 sheets in it, 52 acid-free pages. It's 230 GSM, 100% cotton, cold-pressed version, and it does claim that both sides can be painted on. I have my thoughts about the sketchbook, but I'm actually going to save them for a future Etchr sketchbook roundup review. So stay tuned for that. All right, so now we get into some of the, I don't know, everyday types of stuff. This one is kind of boring. It's just my Factis eraser. I don't know, not much can be said about this. It's a nice eraser, so you know, that's nice to have in your arsenal. The next one is my ink rag. It's gross and disgusting. This is my ink rag washed as well. I have several of these that used to be my microfiber face towels, and they just kind of slowly started to transition. I want to say like half of them became my art watercolor rags, and then as I got into ink more, they became like a hybrid, and they're absolutely disgusting. But I will say that I prefer these over paper towels or cotton rags. It just makes cleanup so much easier. It makes being able to wipe off my dip pen so much easier. I just really enjoy using these rags. So a standard sketcher like me, I do require a pencil, which, you know, at some point I would love to get to a point where I don't really have to sketch out too much. I can just freestyle everything. This is just a standard Bic mechanical 0.7 millimeter pencil. And that's really all I have to say about that. Next is my speedball nibs and handles. This one is the 512 size. It is a thicker line and it has a really nice flow to it. It holds quite a bit of ink in the well, so I'm not dipping as much as I am with my smaller nibs. It is not flexible, so I'm able to carry the same line weight no matter how hard I press. It's really important to pay attention when you're getting your nibs to understand if you want a flexible nib compared to if you want one that's not. This one is a little sad. I have to say goodbye to it. This is my 102. Look how tiny it is. Oh no, and it won't stay. That one is my 102, and unfortunately, because of my carelessness, I accidentally dropped it about a third of the way through the challenge, and now it is bent. So unfortunately, I have to say goodbye to it. It is actually like my favorite nib from the whole speedball set, so of course that's the one that I bend, but kind of like the 512, it's not flexible, so it keeps the same line weight. It's super feather light. It's just really nice to have in my arsenal. So I am going to see if it's available to purchase by itself. The comparable one that I used once that bent was the 108. It is so much more flexible than the 102, but with a very light touch, it's really easy to create a thin line. We now have the Lamy Safari pen. I have a whole video dedicated to fountain pens in general and my haul and my testing out and demo. This one did not disappoint. In the Polaroid pictures, I used my Speedball nibs and handles, but outside of it, I really wanted to try to experiment. This kind of also changed throughout the process, so I'll be sharing that a little bit later. But it was really nice to have something that I didn't have to constantly dip back into a well. I will say I used it so much that I ended up refilling it 4 times, but we'll get into the ink that I used in just a little bit. This was somewhat random that I wasn't expecting to need, but I also brought in my creative inspiration brushes. Now, I was not actually planning on using brushes of any kind during this, but some of the spreads required more of a flow of water with ink, and so it was just a lot easier. Plus, there were also some spreads towards the end that became very dark very fast. And I really needed something to cover the entire thing. My apologies, my battery ran out, so if things kind of shifted, that's why. But now we're going to go into the world of inks. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the Platinum Carbon ink. I don't know if I actually talked about it or if I just showed it on the video about oh my god, why can't I think now about the fountain pens, but this by far is one of the best, I guess, inks of a fountain pen I've used. My knowledge is a little limited. I haven't really explored that much, but from all the reviews I've seen of other people's fountain pen inks, this one is waterproof for the most part, and I think they like to claim water resistant, but for me, it's been waterproof. And I really enjoy how easy it is. They have this very clear piece inside, so you can put your pen in here. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. You can put your pen in here without risking you getting ink all over. I don't know if that's common for pen ink wells. I'm not sure. The next ink that I want to talk about is the Winsor Newton India ink. This one I opened up 2 years ago for, I believe it was my Halloween drawing for Jack Skellington of the very first Inktober that I ever completed. And oh my gosh, I didn't use it after that until this challenge. It was completely full. And now it's down here. You can't tell because I've turned it too many times, but like I used it so much this challenge, and now I only have like the bare minimum left. Now that I have had it open for a long time to dip my pen in and everything, it's gotten thicker, and so I'm going to be using it more for spreads that I want to cover with a brush. But I really enjoyed using this with my dip pens. And last but not least is my favorite trusty Speedball Super Black India ink. Can I just say why? Why do I love this so incredibly much? I don't know. I don't know why. It's just so rich and good. You can use it with a dip pen. You can use it with a brush. It's easy to water down. It's easy to be opaque. It's just so good. I will shout it from the rooftops. I've told everyone about this ink that I can, and it is just one of my all-time favorites. I have, this is actually to the point, kind of like the Winsor Newton, where like it's at the bottom, it's thicker, it's only good now to spread on with a brush, which is why I opened up another one for the dip pens. I can't help myself. It's just so good. Just set that right there because I just now remembered that on the very last spread, I did use one more thing on the very last spread, and this was the only time I used it during the 31 days, and that is my Uni Posca pen in white. I don't even remember what size this is. Oh, it's 0.7, apparently I like that size. 0.7 millimeters. This was very nice for my last spread, which you'll see in a moment. And it was just, I don't know, it created really nice, like white lines on the black bits. There's my official review, everyone, about Uni Posca. But I really did enjoy this. It made my life super, super easy. The last day of the challenge, it was just like a breath of fresh air to try out something with a medium that I hadn't tried it out with before, and for it to be so, so simple. So hooray. There you have it. There's a very, I guess, basic list of all of the things that I used throughout the challenge. And now let's get over to how I took this challenge on. Okay, I'm going to break this next part up into different, I guess, categories, the different goals that I had set for myself, and rate them on whether I think I achieved them or explain what changed throughout the process. I wanted to focus on hand lettering and message drawings. In the end, I think I learned a lot, but I still have a very long way to go. I think I'd give myself a C+ because to fit the narration of the story, I had to focus on more of the aesthetic of the storyline instead of necessarily writing pretty or writing more cursive or things like that. So my focus kind of changed throughout the month and throughout the challenge, and that kind of made my goal for hand lettering sink into the background. The next goal is more about the format that I wanted to capture this in and how I wanted to document it. The original concept was to draw on a small format while portraying a traveler's journey in a field notebook. It actually very first started off, though, for me to do just trading cards. It then quickly blew up into it all being in a sketchbook and contained, and then it got into being a traveler on a journey, and it kind of snowballed from there. But my initial idea was just to do a standard 2.5 by 3.5 drawing for each prompt. And I feel like I kind of failed that one. However, this is an A6 size, which is not something I'm used to drawing in. I'm used to drawing in at least A5. And so this was quite the challenge for me. But I will say, I think I give myself a B. I really wish I had known that, like, going into it, that there was going to be a story from the beginning. So maybe I could have made it more cohesive or more thought out. However, I think this kind of works, especially since our traveler's memory has holes in it. I think I did an okay job. As it grew into an actual storyline, what was posted on Instagram, like all of the thoughts for every day that was posted, was what was going on inside either the traveler's head or in the world of the traveler. But it's only the notebook that you can see in like the flip through, so you don't actually get an accurate version of the story until you read IG. But that's exactly why later on in this video, why I'm going to be reading each day while we're... The very last goal that I wanted to do, because I'm a crazy person, was I wanted to stream every day while doing this challenge. This one was to not only push myself in sharing my processes more on stream, but also to act as a way to encourage other people who wanted to participate in StreamINK or any inking challenge. They could rely on my streams to keep pushing them forward, and it made me accountable to continue to do it every day. Now, I will give myself an A- on this one. There are 2 YouTube videos that I posted because I unfortunately couldn't log into my Twitch account. It was just bad timing with the 2-step authentication and me recently having changed my phone number. So that was very unfortunate, but at least we got 2 YouTube videos out of it and I was able to share that way. I was able to stream every single day except for those 2 videos, and then on Halloween we ended up having an 11-hour stream to celebrate the fact that we finished. So we played games, I did face painting, we ate treats together. It was just a whole bunch of fun. And so I would not have changed anything. Even those 2 days, I would not have changed anything, because it also let me know that my community supports me even when I can't show up every single day. And I thought that that was an important lesson for me to learn.